Hey Goobers, and welcome back to class. Today we're going to be learning about measures of variability in statistics. So to start off, we have a good couple of definitions to go over, so make sure you are following along and writing them down to help you remember in the future. So our first definition is the word range. So when you have a data set, the range is the difference between the highest and lowest numbers. The difference between the highest and lowest numbers in a data set. Our next one is the interquartile range. So the interquartile range is a big word, but it is the range between the upper and lower quartiles. And we're going to go over what lower and upper are later. But the definition for interquartile range is the difference between the lower and upper quartiles. So, the lower and upper quartiles are the median of the first half and the second half of a data set. So if you take the median of a data set and you find the median of the first half and the second half of it. So the median of the first half, that's the lower quartile and is usually seen as Q1, and the second half shown as Q3 of a data set. So finally, all of this information can help us create a box and whiskers plot. A box and whiskers plot is a plot that shows the ranges, quartiles, and medians of a data set. So a plot that shows the ranges, quartiles, and median of a data set. So these box and whiskers plot, you start off with a box and you draw some whiskers. Usually they just stick out on lines on the end. So the whisker to the left is going to be the minimum, so the lowest number, and the one to the right is going to be the maximum number. Now these are not including outliers, which is something we can go over later on, but currently it is just the minimum and the maximum. The box starts at the quartile 1, or the lower quartile, and ends at quartile 3, or the upper quartile. And the box is usually divided by the median, which is not always dead center, and the median is also sometimes called Q2. So the distance between quartile 1 and 3 or the difference between the two, is the interquartile range, usually written as IQR. So that box shows you the IQR, or the interquartile range, while the whole thing from minimum to maximum shows you the difference between the largest and the smallest number, or the range. We're going to go over this a little more on showing you how to find the exact details of creating a box and whiskers plot, but first we're going to start on showing you how to find the ranges, the quartiles, and the medians. So, Mr. Mack has a class of 18 sixth graders. He gave them an assessment worth 45 points. He has a list of all the points each student made below. Mr. Mack needs to find the range, interquartile range, lower quartile, and upper quartile of his students' point values. So first, when we look at this data set, we need to put it in numerical order. So we have our lowest number is 26. So we are going to go ahead and put 26 and cross that one out. And then we have 29. And then we have 30 on here twice. So 30, 30. And then we have 32, which shows up once. We have 37 that shows up 4 times, so we have to write each of those down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have 38 that shows up twice. Then we have 39. 40. 41 shows up twice. 42 that shows up twice. And then 45. So this is our list of all of our numbers and our data. So now that we have them all in order, we can go ahead and find the range. So our highest number is 45 and our lowest is 26. So our range is the difference between the highest and the lowest number. Difference meaning subtraction. So we're going to take 45 and subtract 26, which gives us 19. So our range is 19. Next, we have to find our median to help us find the lower and upper quartile ranges. So our median is going to be the number in the middle. So to find that, you go from left to right, crossing them out. So 26, 45, 29, 42. 30, 42, 30, 41, 32, 41, 37, 40, 37, 39, 37, 38. And we can see here that if we cross them both out, we're not going to get a single number left in the middle. So we have to find what's in between 37 and 38. Which is 37.5. So our median is 37.5. So the next step is to take everything on the first half of the median to find the lower quartile. So lower quartile we have the numbers 26, 29, 30, 30, 32, 37, 37, 37, and 37. And we're going to do just like we did with the median, but using this data set. So we're going to do 26, 37, 29, 37, 30, 37, 30, 37 to find that our quartile is 32. So our lower quartile, our Q1 is going to give us 32. So next we're going to go ahead and do the upper quartile. So again, not including the median, we're going to list out our numbers. We have 38, 38, 39, 40, 41, 41, 42, 42, and 45. And just like with the upper quartile and the median, we are going to find the median of this new data set, 38, 45, 38, 42, 39, 42, 40, 41. Our Q3, or the median of this upper quartile, is 41. So our last step is to find the interquartile range, or the IQR. Again, the interquartile range is the difference between the upper and the lower quartile. That is going to be 41 minus 32. And that is going to give you 9. So our interquartile range is 9. And we can go ahead and double check that we have the range, the interquartile range, the upper quartile, and the lower quartile of his data set, meaning we have answered all of his questions. So I know it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of work that can be easily done. So we're going to go over how to take all this information and to create a box and whiskers plot. Sarah posts on Instagram a lot and always checks the amount of likes she gets. She has the amount of likes she has attained on her last 10 posts listed below. Sarah wants to create a box and whiskers plot to see her data. So to create the box and whiskers plot, we're going to need to have the ranges, the quartiles, and the median of this data set. So we want to put this data set in order from least to greatest. So that's going to be 26, 33, 34, 45, 47, 50, 51, 52, 56, and 67. So we have all her posts below. So we're going to first find the range. The range is going to be 67, the highest number, minus the lowest number of 26. So that difference between the lowest and the highest number is going to be 41. Our median, if we cross them out and do what we did before, it's going to be 26, 67, 33, 56, 34, 52, 45, 51, and the number in between 47 and 50, which is 48.5. So now we have to find the quartile 1, or the lower quartile. So Q1, we want to put those in order real quick. So 26, 33, 34, 45, and 47. Again, not including the median. I'm going to cross them out as we go to find that the quartile 1 is 34. we can go ahead and find quartile 3, which again, not including the median, so 50, 51, 52, 56, and 67. And finding that interquartile by using the same method of finding the median, which is going to be 52. And now we want to know the interquartile range. This is going to be 52 minus 34, and the difference between the quartiles are 18. So we should have all our data here to be able to create the box and whiskers plot. So again, like I said before, we start off with a box. So here is our box, and we're going to draw these lines out to the side to show our whiskers. So we first want to write down the minimum number, so the lowest number, which as we saw before was 26. And our highest number is 67. So her likes for her box and whiskers plot is going to range from numbers 26 to 67. We then start off with the first quartile, which is 34. And then our upper quartile, which is 52. And we look at our median and ask ourselves, is 48.5 closer to 34 or 52? We're going to say it's closer to 52. So we want to put that line closer to 52 than the 34. So it's going to be closer to the upper quartile than the lower. So that's going to be our 48.5 there. So we can see that here is our interquartile range of 18, and here is our entire range of 41. It's just a basic, easier way of looking at a data set and being able to understand the numbers that lie between it all. So I want y'all to go ahead and try this practice problem. It says a zoo surveyed 390 of its guests on their favorite animal exhibit. The zoo graphed the responses in the table to the left. The zoo now wants to make the box and whiskers plot to show the data gathered. So I want you to pause here and using that same piece of paper you've been taking your notes on to give this practice problem a go. So if you've hit play, I am assuming that you've given this your very best shot, and we're going to go over this now. So our first step is going to be putting these in order from least to greatest. So we're going to take the data set, and we see that the least is 28, so that's it's going to start. Then it is 30, 43, 49, 61, 87, and 92. So to start off, we're going to go ahead and find the range, which is the largest number subtracted by the smallest number, so 92 minus 28, which gives us 64. And then we're going to find the median. So 28, 92, 30, 87, 43, 61, leaving us with 49. Then we're going to find our lower quartile range, or our Q1. So that's 28, 30, 43. And because this isn't an odd number data set, we're going to include that median. So 49. And we're going to go back and forth. So we have to find the middle between 30 and 43, which is going to be 36.5. I'm going to find our Q3, or our upper quartile range, which is going to be, again, we're including the median because it's odd number set. So it's 49, 61, 87, and 92, which we can find the middle number between 61 and 87, which is 74. And then using those two, we can find our IQR, or our interquartile range. So 74 minus 36.5, which is 37.5. So now we have all the information we need to create our box and whiskers plots. We're going to start off by drawing our box and adding our whiskers and going ahead and labeling. So our minimum is 28. Our maximum is 92. Our Q1 is 36.5. Our Q3 is 74. And our median, which is closer to 36.5 than 74, so we're going to put it closer to the Q1, it is 49. So that is our box and whiskers plot. Again, using this, you can see that the IQR is 37.5 and our range is 64. But for the sake of the box and whiskers plot, we don't have to add that in there. So this here is all we need for this problem set. So I hope you're following along at home and you've gone over what you did compared to what the problem has given us. And I do hope that if you are struggling a little, you're asking your teachers for help in finding practice problems on IXL or just looking through online. But I will see y'all next time. Bye!